What's up, y'all? Back again for the Breeders' Cup Classic. This race, of course, should be top race in the world, top competition for these kind of this grade of horses, as you would say. It's not always quite that way, but this year, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with the quality of the horses running in the Breeders' Cup Classic. It should be a very competitive race. However, there's one horse in here that may have something to say about that. Let's just go ahead and get into it now. Number one, we have Taiba. Taiba, lightly raced horse, won the Santa Anita Derby, ran the Kentucky Derby as well as a few of these other horses. Ran into trouble there. Came out, ran a very, very, very strong race in the Haskell, but lost by net Cyberknife in that one. And then came back, got a win in the Pennsylvania Derby. So hasn't faced a lot of competition, but Taiba has been a formidable horse since day one. Mike Smith still aboard, Bob Baffert the trainer. Between these two guys, they've won 8. I guess you could say 7 because they kind of teamed up on one. But Mike Smith has won 4 Breeders' Cup Classics. Bob Baffert's won 4 Breeders' Cup Classics. Had that 3 in a row with the Bayern, American Pharaoh, and Arrogate. But this one is going to be tough. Taiba, I'm expecting a very hot pace in this one. Taiba, even though doesn't really like to ride off the pace, but won't be quite as near the pace as I think he's going to need to be. However, if the pace is too crazy, Taiba's going to be in an excellent position to win this one. I was really impressed with that race in the Haskell. That might have been the best that the horse could do. If you can get that much out of the horse, it might be enough for a win in this one. I'm not sure, but this race is so loaded with quality. Every horse has got the work cut out for him. Number 2, Life is Good. This was the Baffert horse that got moved over to Pletcher. Started off very, very strong. Horse very much like Flightline. Didn't end up running in the Kentucky Derby due to injury and stuff. Came in the Breeders' Cup last year, won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Went on a long win streak. I think he won like 5 in a row or so at a certain point. Won the Pegasus this year. Went to Dubai. Wasn't his day. What can you say? Wasn't his day. Been very, except for that race in Dubai, I mean, the horse is almost undefeated. I mean, very, very impressive. All the way through. Loves to run up front. Super horse of sorts, you could say. Irad Ortiz Jr.'s riding him, like I said, trained by Todd Pletcher. 6-1 on the board. The only reason he's 6-1 is because there's Flightline is running in this one. Questionable if Flightline should be a 3-5. And Life is Good be as high as 6-1. That's really big for this horse. Should be the second favorite in my opinion, though he's not. By the way, that was 8-1 on Taiba. 8-1. These morning odds are going to be meaningless come race time anyway. It's going to be all over the place because there's going to be tons of money on Flightline. It's definitely going to change. Definitely going to change. I don't know who's going to be the second, third favorite by the time it's race time. But we'll see. Anyway, Life is Good. Like I say, an excellent horse should be a 3-5 favorite if Flightline was running in this horse in this race. I think Life is Good will set the pace out. I don't think Flightline's going to get the lead. I think Life is Good is going to start off with the lead, and I think set the pace at least in the beginning, and then we'll see what happens from there. His last out was in the Woodward. That was in the slop. It was still slow, though. It's in New York. They slowed down the pace. Opening half, I think it was 49 seconds or something. The Whitney ran before that. Decent pace at Saratoga. He ran a good race, enough to win. I'm just not seeing these he's having to try to win these races, I should say. Life is good as winning, but you got to try. Whereas Flightline really seem to try. But Life is Good, still excellent horse. I still don't think we've really seen how fast he can really go. I still don't think he's run his best race. Because as I said, he wins these races like, all right, I guess I'll run now. And he gets going. And he wins most of the time. It's not going to be like that on Saturday. Number 3, Happy Saver. Now, what can you say about this horse? Happy Saver is in there. I think the horse has entered 12 races and run first or second in 10 of those. Happy Saver manages to run second in races that I don't think Happy Saver should be competitive in. But Happy Saver doesn't seem to be able to get the win against these big horses. Been beaten by just about everybody in this race. Been beaten by Life is Good. I think beaten by who all we got here? Hot Rod Charlie beat him. Rich Strike. Life is Good. You have Flightline, Olympiad. I mean, Happy Saver's been beat by a lot of these horses. However, for the sake of playing an exotic, I mean, at 30-1 odds, it's definitely going to be higher than that. Playing in second and third, he could run second or third. There's nothing saying that, especially if the pace gets kind of crazy. He could make your day if you have that right play with a Happy Saver in there and the other horses around him if he runs in. Another Pletcher Velazquez combo. They teamed up often. I think they got that win. What was that? Oh no, that was Authentic. Bob Baffert. Johnny Velazquez won that with Authentic. Won this race twice, by the way. Vino Rosso 2019 was Irad Ortiz Jr. and Todd Pletcher, who were teamed up as well on Life is Good. But this one's Pletcher Velazquez, Happy Saver. Like I said, looking for maybe a play for the exotic. I don't really like him to win. Way too many, the talent's way too much greater. The other horses, I think, for Happy Saver to come up with a win. But the horse is strong and resilient, keeps running, and that bodes well for horses that can to hit the board sometimes in races like this. Number 4, that is the Superstar Flightline. I don't know if you've seen this horse run. The horse effortlessly puts down these quick fractions. That Pacific Classic, I had a feeling that was going to be an epic race. And it was an epic race, one of the best mile-and-a-quarter races I've ever seen. And I think they're going to try to get somewhat of a repeat of that. Life is Good I think he'll give Life is Good the lead. He will hang out, I think, for the fight a little bit longer. The thing is Flavien Prat going to be able to control the horse well enough without choking him out? And you know, Flavien Prat has never won this race before. He won some big races. This will be by far his biggest race if he is able to pull this one off. Is it his race to lose? Is it Flightline's race to lose? Probably. That's tough to say because Taiba's a good horse. Life's Good is a good horse. You know, we got Epicenter's a good horse. Hot Rod Charlie's a good horse. You know, all these horses are good. Olympiad's a good horse. Even Rich Strike. Flightline just appears to be that next level, that Met Mile. He stumbled out of the gate, didn't even hardly run the race right. Didn't finish strong. I mean, he just kind of cruised home 133. He's undefeated. What else can you say about this horse? He's just got to prove it now in front of the world. And Flavien Prat, who I really have problems with because of other things he's done in his career, we'll see if he can redeem himself. Horse is bred out of Tappet. It's one of those horses. I mean, to me, that's what it looks like. Arrowgate was one of those horses. Ghost Sapper was one of those horses. Um, I mean, maybe even Authentic, even though Authentic, I mean, questionable. I mean, I guess there's questions about that, maybe. But Flightline just seems like one of those horses. It's all going to be about the pace, though, and the strategy, because he's definitely just not going to be able to run away with this one without a challenge. Number 5, Hot Rod Charlie. Now, this horse has been very, very competitive since back that Louisiana Derby, and he's been hitting the board. He got a win. What was it? Win Lucas Classic. Third in the Whitney, though. Second in the Salvatore Mile. Second in Dubai. I don't know if he's got what it takes to win this one. If something happens to Flightline and life is good, then maybe Hot Rod Charlie could get in there. Just don't really know if he's going to have the speed that it takes to get this one done. May hit the board, though. That's definitely something you might want to look at him for. Tyler Gaffalione will be riding him for this one. They got him at 15 to 1 in the morning odds. He might come down a little bit of crowd favoritism with this horse. Just don't know if he can get the win. Number 6, Epicenter, another horse that I'm not sure can get the win. Epicenter has never run below even time. I mean, he's hit even time, mile and 3/16, mile and a quarter. I just don't think he could go any faster. I think he just consistently hits that time. It took him forever to get that Grade 1 win. Finally got that in the Travers. Good time, 2 minutes. Won the Jim Dandy in 148. Preakness, he barely lost that one. That was 154. I just think he's not going to be fast enough for this one. Rosario is aboard him, of course, trained by Asmussen. They got him at 5 to 1 to be the second favorite. I don't really think he's going to be the second. Life is Good is the second favorite to me. Life is Good is the better horse. Rosario has won this race a couple times before, though, as has Asmussen. So they've got the experience. Just don't think they're going to have the horse for this one. And like I said, unless something happens up front with those two, I think it's really between the front runners in this one. And Epicenter, the closer he runs to the front, the better he does. They kind of backed off of that for a while. He was losing. They started running closer to the front. Past 2 races, Jim Dandy, in the Travers he won. So maybe they'll get back to that. But I still don't think he's got the speed to keep up. I don't. I think if he gets too close to that pace, he's going to get tired. Oh, I mean, he doesn't really get tired, but I still don't think he can win. I think he's capped out on the speed. Number 7, Olympiad. Another one which I think will get capped out on the speed. Now, this horse, probably a bit better than Hot Rod Charlie and Epicenter. I think he did lose to Hot Rod Charlie in, what was that? Yeah, in the Whitney. Yeah. Got beat by Life is Good. But got his win last out, Jockey Club Gold Cup, 202, not too impressive. Horse can run faster. You got Junior Alvarado aboard. Once again, the jockey's going to make, in this kind of race, that kind of guy, I think he's just going to have the best horse in the race. And Olympiad's just not clear-cut the best horse in the race. This is very, very, very competitive field. Very competitive. But say the only one is going to win. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's in second, third, I just don't know if Olympiad and Junior Alvarado is going to have what it takes as well. Bill Mott, trainer, he's won twice before. Way back in '95, one with Cigar, and then he won with Drosselmeyer, Mike Smith, 2011. Another one. I like the horse. It's tough competition in this one. And then number 8, everyone's favorite underdog, Rich Strike. Kentucky Derby winner, won at 80 to 1. I don't know if his odds will get up to 80 to 1 on Saturday, but they might get close. And you would think, wow, how could the former Kentucky Derby winner's odds get up to 80 to 1? He's 20 to 1 morning odds. They still got Sonny Leone riding them. That's one reason the odds are still going to be high. And he hasn't been impressive. You know, they like to ride way off the pace. That's why the Kentucky Derby, I think he was able to get the win, amongst other things, familiarity with the track and stuff. That pace was crazy fast, and he took advantage of that. Sixth in the Belmont after that, fourth in the Travers, second in the Lucas Classic there. That was a great race, though, competitive race with Hot Rod Charlie. Hot Rod Charlie got him, but that's about as fast as either of those horses can run, in my opinion. That Lucas Classic, I think that's the most you're going to see out of both of those, really. And like I said, that Flightline, I don't know, maybe I just fell in love with this horse or something. But I think he's one of those horses, and the only way he loses is because I'm looking at Life is Good coming out getting the lead. I think it's going to be a 46-second opening half. I think Life is Good is going to get the lead. I think Pratt's going to hold Flightline off, but I think he's going to want to start going before they get to three-quarters. I mean, Flightline likes to run. If you fight him, you're just going to ruin him. If he, because in the Pacific Classic, when the horse wanted to go, he let him go pretty much. If he does the same thing, I mean, I think we're going to be looking at that three-quarters and probably at least a 110, maybe a 109. The way Flightline runs, he might even do the three-quarter and 108. I think he's going to drag Life is Good into a bit of a faster of a race that he wants to run. I don't think he'll be able to settle. I think it's going to get into a bit of a speed duel. Not early, but I mean, three-quarters into it, you know, in that mile, it's going to be looking like a two-horse race, I think. And I think Flightline's gonna have to open up for real. Same thing with Life is Good. I think he's gonna have to open up for real. We'll see what the two of these horses are made of. Me just basing what I've seen out of the two horses and how they've run, and how effortlessly they've run certain fractions in certain conditions. I just think that Flightline is a bigger, faster horse. And without strategic, I mean, Ortiz cuts him off or something, not cuts him off illegally, but, you know, makes it difficult on him, or maybe one of these other jockeys gets out there and you know, gets out there and Sonny Leone or somebody, or maybe Junior Alvarado, like, you know, we'll get together and we'll box in this horse and we'll all just kind of sacrifice ourselves to make sure he doesn't win. This is horse racing. Stuff like this, it's not unheard of. It's not unheard of. And unless something like that happens, though, I think Flightline's got this. I think, to me, the question is not does he win. The question is, does he take down Authentic's record? Because Authentic has this track record. It was 159-3. I think he does. I think he's going to need to go faster than that to be Life is Good. And I'm thinking he's around 159 flat. I mean, he should be able to do a 159 flat if he has to try to run. He might even be a 158-4. So we will see, but that's how I got it. I think Flightline comes on top. The big question is, does Life is Good hold on? And I say no. Life is Good does not hold on for second. Life is Good falls to third and gets passed by Taiba. I've got Mike Smith and Taiba running second in this one. Life is Good will give it all he's got, but will just give up a bit too much trying to keep up with Flightline. He falls back. Taiba comes in there and snags second away. Life is Good runs third, and I've got Epicenter, Joel Rosario, in there for fourth. I was thinking maybe a Happy Saver, but honestly, I think Epicenter and Happy Saver are essentially going to be the same horse in this race. I mean, they aren't the same horse in reality, but for handicapping purposes of this race, they're essentially the same horse, except Epicenter's a little bit faster. So, you know, going with Epicenter there in fourth place. May still do something with Happy Saver if those odds get big enough. because it's hard enough to pick the winner of a race, let alone in a second and third. So you got to play around with a little bit with that, especially if you got the big odds in there and you think that horse has a chance of coming in the money. Like Happy Saber's only finished out of the money once in his career. So I mean, he had a third. He's only once he finished out of the money in his career, which was his last race, the Lucas Classic, getting beat by Hot Rod Charlie and Rich Drake. So there we have it. Yeah, I'm going with the chalk. What can I say? I call him as I see him. Doesn't mean there's not a play. There's always a play in every race. That's what exotics are for. That's what supers are for. And if you choose, you like doubles, pick threes, there's always a play. But that's how I see it. I got Life is Good in there. Or sorry, I've got Flightline in there running first, Taiba running second, and Life is Good hanging in there for third, Epicenter fourth. These other ones I just don't think will be able to keep it. I think Hot Rod Charlie will give it his all. I think Olympia is going to give it his all. Rich Strike will make a run at it. I think maybe he might pass a couple of other horses. But that's how I got it, Flightline. Let me know what you think in the comments.